Okay. Omajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminidhi Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Nityanand Namastubhyam Premanand Kalau Kalmashnaasaya Janvapate Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratuse Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we are discussing from chapter 2, verse number 55. The symptoms of a self-realized soul are being explained by Supreme Lord Krishna himself. He is describing about these symptoms. So with regards to this verse, we already discussed the purpose behind this discussion on symptoms of self-realized soul. While we are not yet self-realized, what is the purpose? We discussed in detail. There are two purposes. Why we should very in detail we should know the symptoms of a self-realized person. And the first purpose is so that we can test ourselves how much we have yet achieved the stage of complete perfection and how much more is required to achieve. So when we know the symptom, then we can judge, and accordingly we can put a more endeavor in the process for achieving the highest stage of self-realization. And second purpose is to know that the person whom we are submitting, the person whom shelter we are seeking, or we are choosing as our spiritual master or guide. So whether he is on that stage of self-realization or not, because this is very important. Mhm. The guru, spiritual master, the kind of spiritual master or guru we accept in our life, similarly, we can, to that degree only, we can advance in Krishna consciousness. If somebody who chooses a spiritual master or guru, just seeing his external influence, external delivery of the speeches, and but actually that particular spiritual master or guru is not completely self-realized, means he is not achieved the platform of pure Krishna consciousness. So he can never uplift our consciousness. He can never make us devotees. That's why it is recommended, rather, it is must. One must find a bona fide spiritual master. Bona fide spiritual master means he must be a pure devotee of Krishna and his symptoms must match with the symptoms of perfectly self-realized soul mentioned in these verses in the Bhagavad Gita. So that we can we can be rest assured by taking shelter of his lotus feet and become advanced in spiritual consciousness. So this is very important to know. So Prajahati, so in the first verse, Lord Krishna is telling, Shri Bhavan Vacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmanevatmana Tushtastit Pragyastad Uchyate. O Partha, the Supreme Personality of God had said, O Parth, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind thus purified finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So in this particular verse, two things are important, very important to note in order to check with ourselves and in others whether he has or ourselves we have achieved a stage of this self-realization, transcendental consciousness. The first is one who is situated in such pure transcendental consciousness. He is able to give up immediately. He is able to give up immediately the desires for sense gratification as soon as it is generated. So now one may question, okay, ourselves we can judge that if desires for sense gratification arise in our heart, so whether we are able to give it up or not immediately, how much we are means advanced in this connection, ourselves we can judge, and every one of us we can judge this. So accordingly, we can know, oh, I am only 20% up to this standard. So no problem. I'll put more endeavor. I will increase my sadhana and my effort and austerity to advance in to achieve transcendental consciousness, perfect consciousness. So gradually, one who becomes serious in the execution of devotional service to Krishna, gradually from 20% to 40%, 80%, then 100%, one can achieve to the standard of completely giving up all kinds of desires for sense gratification as soon as it arises within the heart. So this is quite possible. Sometimes some devotee they think that this is impossible. I cannot do this. Yes, you cannot do this. For you, it may be impossible, but for Krishna, uh, that is not impossible. If one takes shelter of Krishna's lotus feet and executes the devotional service process or devotional service very rigidly with all seriousness, then one can definitely overcome this desire for sense gratification as soon as it arises. So it may be difficult, but it is not impossible. So this can be done. So this is first thing. So for ourselves, we can immediately we can judge ourselves. But in others, how we can judge? We are not within their mind. We don't know what is going inside. So for others, we can judge that when they get the opportunity for sense enjoyment, sense gratification, how much they are able to tolerate, how much they are not able to forget their main business and get swayed away by the desire for sense gratification. There are many examples in this regard. There have been many so-called sadhus, gurus, who in the beginning they appear to be very exalted, saintly personality, uh, but in their life, as soon as big following came, name fame came, and opportunity for sense gratification came, immediately they ended into doing some kind of scandals, some kind of such behavior which is not appropriate for a sadhu or saintly person to do. And then they are revealed that actually they had not achieved the perfect stage of transcendental consciousness. We know the news is filled with such cases, many sadhus. But we also know we are very, very fortunate that we are under the shelter of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is no doubt, without any doubt, a sent, completely sent person, transcendental consciousness personality, sent person, pure Krishna conscious personality. There is no doubt about it. Because uh, what to speak of means any episode or incident of having such kind of a scandal or any incident in which the behavior was inappropriate. There was not even a tinge or trace of any of the inappropriate actions performed by Srila Prabhupada in his dealing. Uh, no, his heart is completely free from all kinds of lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, madness. His heart is completely free from all six anarthas. That is why he became the renowned Acharya and all over the world. And he could preach pure Krishna consciousness and influence all the fallen souls with Krishna consciousness, and they also took up Krishna consciousness with great. purity. So that is the effect of purity. So the success of his movement is the result of his purity. So he had this perfect purity. He was situated in this perfect transcendental consciousness. That's why he could preach Krishna consciousness, not just external success. When we speak of success, so success doesn't only mean thousands of followers, thousands of temples. No, this is external manifestation of real success. Because there may be someone in this world who may be having this external success, many thousands, what, why thousands? Many millions and millions of followers, many thousands and thousands of branches and centers and temples. But he may not be actually successful in internally in terms of his transcendental consciousness. Because this external success one can also get because of his previous pious credit. Just like Ambani, there are others, materialistic person also, many great, big, rich persons in this world. They also earn millions and trillions of dollars, and they also have many thousands of branches and big influence. There are many celebrities who have millions of followers. And there are even celebrities, persons, their followers, they are so devoted to them, dedicated to them, they even worship them. So this is not difficult to get big following, to earn lot of money, to establish one's uh, means name and fame all over the world. So this may be because of one's previous pious activities, result of his pious activities. So this has nothing to do with the spiritual success. Always remember. So never ever judge the success of spiritual success with material success, based on material success. On the other hand, somebody who may be spiritually very successful but may not be materially very successful. Just like Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He also situated in perfect transcendental consciousness, but he had only one disciple, and he had no mandir, no temple, no center, no followers. Of course, he had following. He was very famous at that time, but not like these big celebrities and so-called sadhus who become follow famous all over the world. No, and he was not even a great scholar. What to speak of great scholar? He couldn't even read properly the scriptures, but he was a great devotee. Spiritually, he was complete successful personality. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur could recognize this because of the mercy of his divine father, Srila Sachidanand Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who instructed him to go and take initiation from Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, although he was very famous as a great scholar, and he was rewarded with the chief astrologer, uh, chief astrologer of the king of Bengal at that time. He was appointed as chief astrologer. Even in such a young age, when he was just 19, 20 years old, so he got this position and big fame, and he was so scholar. Practically, he read all the Vedic literatures. He was known as means living encyclopedia of Vedic literature. There was no question in the world which he could not answer. He had answer to all the questions with references, scriptural references. He was such a great scholar, and he was Naistik Brahmachari, and then he took sannyas. So that was also another his great fame. So such a famous personality and great scholar, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur of his time. Uh, he became disciple of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj because he knew what is real success. So he knew, although Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he is not well educated in terms of Vedic literatures, and he is not so famous. He is not so rich. He has no temples, but still he is a pure devotee of Krishna, and he can give me my real wealth, Krishna Prem. So he took initiation from me. So devotees, we should also at least not become uh, influenced by such. influencer, so-called religious influencer also. There are many. There are few organizations which appears to be of very great success. They have thousands of branches all over the world and they have many millions of followers. But what is their philosophy? All nonsense philosophy. No devotional philosophy. Nothing from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam as it is. All their own concocted, misreinterpreted philosophies they preach. But because they had previous past credit because of which they are getting following. So one should not get influenced by this. That such they just see this sadhu, this Babaji, this guru. He has many millions of followers. Uh, and what is this ISKCON guru? He has no follower. You just check your this YouTube channel. ISKCON, this particular ISKCON guru has only 1,000 follower in his YouTube. And this particular some other Swami or Sadhu, so called, he has many millions of followers. They hear him. So this is external success. There may be cases where somebody who is actually in transcendently situated and who may be very famous also, who may be a true saint and famous also. But there may be cases where a true saintly person may not be so famous, but he is actually true saintly person. So this the point is that the material success and spiritual success have no dependency. Of course, if required, a spiritually successful person he can also get material success by the grace of Krishna in order to utilize those success in the service of Krishna. Just like Srila Prabhupada, before establishing ISKCON, he was not much so successful materially. Although he was fully successful spiritually, materially also Prabhupada was very famous as a means a big great scholar. But in terms of many followers, many disciples, in terms of many branches and money, influence he had, but certain aspects he did not have. But that does not make him any inferior. He was still at that time also fully self-realized soul. But as soon as he went out of India and started to serve the order instruction of his Guru Maharaj. So Krishna, in order to help him, to support him so that he can serve the instruction of his spiritual master by preaching all over the world Krishna consciousness movement. So then Krishna provided all the things. Many disciples came, many rich personalities came. He established 108 temples. So Krishna, if required, he can provide material success also to who is a pure to his pure devotee who is very much eager to render certain services. But a pure devotee is not interested in any kind of opulences which is not required for his service for the Lord. He is not at all interested. Just like Madhvendra Puri, when he was traveling alone, continuously thinking about Krishna, chanting his holy name, he had he had no fixed shelter. He did not make even a single kutia for himself, bhajan kutir for himself. No disciple, nothing. He had few disciples while traveling. When he met Advaita Acharya, he initiated him. Met Nityanand Prabhu, he initiated him. So very few, very exalted disciples he made. But he just traveled and he initiated them and they also started their bhajan. Uh, But when Gopalji ordered him that you establish me, you worship me, then for the service of Srinathji, the same Madhvendra Puri, who was least interested even to build a small kutia for himself, he preached to some of the businessmen of Mathura, and then they constructed a big temple, nice temple for Srinathji. And then he also initiated many Brahmanas in the service of Srinathji and made many disciples. So in this way, he engaged, and Krishna provided everything. So that may be there. But the important point is, we cannot judge the this spiritual success of a sadhu in terms of his material conditioning, external conditions or situations. The symptoms are mentioned in this verse, that a person who is situated in transcendental consciousness, he completely gives up all the desires of sense gratification as soon as there is opportunity to enjoy sense gratification. So externally, we can judge a sadhu, a saintly person, by this parameter. How much he is aloof from sense enjoying mentality, even though there are opportunities for him to enjoy sense gratification. So in this way, we can test, we can judge, and we should take shelter of such a great saintly person who is completely unagitated, unbewildered, even in midst of disturbances. And this is what is also explained in Nectar of Instruction, verse first. Vacha vegam manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam udarupastha vegam, etan vegan yuvishahet dhira, sarvam prithvim sasishyat. So such a personality who is able to control the urges of his senses, mind, all the senses and mind, who is able to control the urges or agitation. He is qualified to make disciples all over the world. He can become Jagat. So this is the symptom. So that's why to know the symptoms of a self-realized person is important for us, so that we can also plan to advance nicely towards higher and higher destination, and also we can see and judge uh, in the spiritual master or guru or sadhu, so that we may not get bewildered and take shelter of somebody who is not actually following proper principles. So this is one thing. So in this verse, this is one factor, that one is able to immediately give up sense gratification. But this is one aspect of the situation in transcendental consciousness. But second is also very important. This first one, there are many people or many sadhus who may be able to do this. But the second one is still more important. Atmanevatmana tushta asit pragyas tadochyate. So this we will discuss tomorrow. Second one. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Prabhuji, as you mentioned, that a person who has gained spiritually a lot of things can also gain materially as well, correct? So,
Yes.
does that become the mercy of Krishna, whether Krishna wants certain specific service from you, or it becomes the willingness of the devotee who wants to serve Krishna, and then Krishna in turns provide everything?
Um, it may be both or any of the thing. But the point is, even if a devotee who desires to render service to Krishna in a certain way, still he does not desire to get the opulence. He only desires to serve Krishna and understanding, because Krishna knows everything. What are the things which are required for my devotee in order to fulfill his desire to serve me in a particular way. So Krishna then provides all these things. Just like Srila Prabhupada. He wanted to preach all over the world. And of course, in order to preach all over the world, you require so many facilities, so many temples, rich persons are also required, influencer also required. But Srila Prabhupada did not ask all these things, that Krishna, please give me a lot of wealth and all those things so that I can serve you by preaching Krishna consciousness all over the world. He simply desired, my dear Krishna, my spiritual master has ordered me to preach the cult of devotional service all over the world. I am helpless. Please allow me to serve my spiritual master, and please help me. Na chao, Prabhu, say mate. You make me dance in whatever way you find suitable. I am ready. So in this way. So then Krishna arranged everything. He provided all the opulences, all the facilities which was required for Srila Prabhupada to execute his Krishna consciousness business. Madhavendra Puri also, when Lord Krishna, Srinathji, Gopalji ordered him that you go and bring sandalwood. So he just went to serve. And whatever was required, the Lord provided everything. So similarly, we also should be like in this mode that we want to serve Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. Hare